campus with a very special guest. Again, we want to thank the Gun Shop of Gadsden. They've been huge in doing baseball and softball with us, and they just jumped on board with us this week. They will be the sponsor of this show here, and we'll be bringing on Matt Sims, the National NRA instructor, firearm safety instructor, who will be talking about gun safety very soon, along with their sponsorship. So at this time, I'm going to let this young man introduce himself, and we'll get going.
I'm Shane Chappell. I'm the head baseball coach here at Southside High School. This is my fourth year here. First 2 years were spent in the classroom teaching English, and the last 2 years I've been assistant principal as well. I've moved into administration, so I've enjoyed that. Enjoyed the time being here and being part of this community.
Coach, last time we come out here last year and talked with you, you guys had a pretty successful season last year, and I know you guys are buying in. You've got a really good name by other coaches, even coaches in other sports talks highly of you. But first of all, what's been going on since the last time we've been out here and like in your off season preparing for this season before we get into this season?
Well, coming off last year, we finished 20-10. By a lot of people's standards, would be a successful year. We missed out on the playoffs. We're in a very challenging area with Oxford, Springville, and Pell City, and which we think are four, including us, four playoff top teams, and it's kind of unfortunate only two teams, make it. But we ended up being 15-3 going in the area, hit a funk, just could not get over that, at a crucial time, and so by everybody else's standards, you look at just the record, 20-10 is usually a pretty good year, but for us, we underachieved, because our goal is to make a playoff, make it the playoffs, make a run, hopefully contend for championships. And, we didn't do that. So just kind of back to the drawing board of what do we got to do different, preparing in the summer and the off season with the lifting and our conditioning and kind of holding our guys to a high standard. This year has kind of been, we're 8-7 right now. We've played a more challenging schedule. We played Hewitt-Trussville twice, who I think they're ranked second in 7A. We faced Mormon Jordan. They got a couple of Division I arms. We faced Corner, a guy going to UAB. So we try to put it, a challenging schedule in front of us. And, we've won some of those games. We've lost, but we wanted to be challenged and learn from mistakes. My big thing for our players this year is understand that, mistakes cost you games, and last year I felt like we were winning some games making mistakes, so we never really learned from it. So I kind of told our guys, when we make mistakes, I kind of want us to lose. I need us to understand that, that's the way you learn. And so we started off, I think at one point we're 8-4, played 3 games over the last 2 weeks. We got beat by Sardis 6-5, and then last night got beat twice by Etowah, and really underplayed, underachieved. Baseball's a game that's more lost than won. Where the team that makes the most mistakes usually ends up losing the game, and the last 3 games that's been definitely the case. I'm hoping, what we talked about to our team today is, it can serve as a wake-up call, and all we can control is our response. How do we respond to it? We can pout and feel sorry for ourselves, or we can go back to work and grind at what we're not doing well and have that mentality of, we're going to persevere and we're going to continue to fight and get better. And I thought today was a really good day for our guys coming in. So we're hoping that's kind of a wake-up call to us that, we've got to play clean, and I think our guys kind of got that message.
Now, like you talked about the advantages of scheduling up like that. Once you do schedule a place like that, you'd think in the back of your mind, you're like, man, once we get in the area place, it'll be easier. But y'all's area,
no,
man,
it's not.
Gauntlet, dude.
Well,
talk about that.
Well, our area, Pell City, they pretty much have everybody returning from last year. Yeah. I think they missed the playoffs. I think Springville ended up beating them in their series to make it. But they have everybody returning from that team except for one guy. So they're going to be very challenging. I know they've played some really good teams this year and have beaten some really good teams. So we're going to have a big challenge in front of us. We play them next week. And then you got Springville, which we'll play them after spring break. I think 2019 they won the state championship in 5A. They were really loaded. And, have made the playoffs every year since that. Made it last year. You know what kind of you're going to get from them. Coach Ford does a great job of preparing those guys. They've got really good athletes. They're going to pitch it. They're going to defend it. They're going to do a good job offensively. So it's just another game you can't make mistakes. And then Oxford's Oxford. They're going to have players all over the field. Division I guys, and so it's another challenge in itself. But for us, we're not going to say that our area is going to be easier, but we're not going to face anybody in our area any harder or tougher than we've faced already. So we've been through that gauntlet a little bit, so hopefully it's not as shocking. Now what we've got to do a better job looking at, compare the last 3 games, because you're always looking at trends, where we're trending, is we've got to play cleaner. We got to, or we're not going to be successful in those games. So, the message to our guys and to our coaches is we got to continue to do a better job. And what I told our guys last night, after not winning those games against Etowah and getting beat was, number one, I take full responsibility. I'm the head coach. It all falls on my shoulders to have our guys prepared to play at the highest level. And so it's my job to go back and assess and what needs to be adapted and changed. And then it's their job to buy into that and trust. And I think we'll do that. And I know I'll do my part and they'll do their part. But I thought today was a really good sign as far as our response to that. But we got a challenge in front of us. We got to know that every day is going to be a challenge, and we gotta treat every day like we're preparing for a state championship, because there's a good chance one of our teams in our area could possibly be playing for it. So, but we're excited because I always tell them too, there's nothing in life that's worth anything is ever easy. And so, if you want something that's got value, it's going to be hard to get, and so we need to be, embrace will have that mindset.
Now, let me ask you this. Who are some of the guys on the mound that's going to help to get that? We'll talk about different positions right now, but let's start with pitching. Who's some of the guys that you really hang on?
Jacob McFarling, who's a senior, pitched for us last year in kind of relief and kind of spot games. I think he is 4-1 right now. Has thrown the ball really well, giving us a chance every time he goes out. I think he's got 2 complete games.
That's awesome.
And he's one of those guys that he does everything right. He's one of those players as a coach. He's very selfless. It's about the team or whatever he can do to help the team. And we kind of joke about our team. Like when foul balls are hit, if he's not in the game, he's a senior and he's the first guy going to get it. He's the first guy willing to go and do those things. So it's great to see those guys have success. Cutter Johnson, who's Brandon Johnson's son, he transferred over here after last year. Has thrown the ball really well, threw the ball really well last night. To give us a chance to win. He's been really good for us. Drew Fortenberry, Trey Smith, 2 other seniors that have been key for us, really good strike throwers, both got good off-speed pitches. Trey Frazier, who's a sophomore, who's kind of up and coming, has pitched in some big games for us. So we got some depth. Now, we don't have that upper echelon talent. We don't have the 90, 92 mile an hour, thrower, or the really, really nasty stuff. Off-speed stuff, but we got guys that are going to throw strikes, throw kind of zones, get soft contact, and give us a chance to win.
There you go. And you need that, really.
Yes.
You need a consistency.
Yes, and that's the whole game. In anything, it's not so much intensity; it's consistency. How consistent can you be? And those guys are getting us a shot every time out. They've pitched it really well for us this year.
That's right. And at the plate, who are some of the guys that really you can count on, get on base for you, and create opportunities to make runs?
Well, and that's an area probably as a whole for our team that we need to continue to get better. But Drew McBurnett, who is our starting catcher, very, very elite defensive catcher, has always before this year been good at the plate, but not been anything. But he's leading off for us. I think he's over 500 on base percentage. He's hitting right at 400. Drayson Champagne, who's another guy who is in the middle infielder for us, is hitting over 400, close to 500 on base percentage. And you got guys in the middle, Torn Snow, who's coming along. Has got some really juice. He's got a lot of family that has played here, and his brother played here, and they were good, really good hitters. Guys like Thomas Farley and Drew Fortenberry, Cutter Johnson, Tucker McGlone, those guys are guys that are going to help us win just by doing what they need to do to, as far as getting guys over, bunting, those kind of things. But, that's an area that we've not been as good as we would hope, but we're really working to kind of shore up that and help our pitching out to give us a little bit of breathing room. Because when you're not swinging it, it puts the margin of error very small. So every walk, any kind of error is kind of magnified because we know we're kind of been struggling offensively. But, baseball's one of those funny games. All it takes is one game to get you going, and all of a sudden you kind of get on some momentum. And I've had previous years of coaching where I've seen that happen, and I think this could be a team that all it takes is one game, and all of a sudden we hit a streak and we're hard to beat.
It's a momentum sport.
It is definitely.
It's contagious. And when you get those guys to put it in play, and or let's swap it over to the defensive side of things.
Yeah.
Talk about your defense as a whole. Some of the guys you got out in the field. And obviously, you've already talked about your catcher, but.
Yeah, I think, it's going to be kind of the same names you hear, but, to me, I feel like to build a good defensive baseball team, everything starts in the middle with your catcher, your two middle infielders, and your center fielder. And, of course, Drew behind the plate has been really huge for us. He does a good job receiving, blocking, can really, really throw it. Drayson Champagne and Tucker McGlone in the middle have done a really good job defensively of, being those kind of rangy guys that can get to balls. We've had some other guys playing those positions because some of those guys pitch too. Thomas Farley, who's a guy who has the ability to really go and get it in the outfield, can really run, does a great job of getting jumps on the ball, getting reads. Hunter Johnson's been another guy that's been out there. It's been really good. Titan Rich, who is a sophomore, who has played a lot for us, is hamstrung with
he was on the bench.
Well, he strained his Achilles in practice about 3 days ago, so he's in a boot right now. We're hoping it's short term, praying for him. I know he's a guy that's a really fiery competitor, kind of a football mentality, and and he brings some of that edginess to our team. So not having him out there, definitely you can feel he's not there or out there on the field with us. But he's a guy that's been really good defensively for us too, and that's some things for high school baseball, especially for us and the numbers, most of those guys are pitchers. They're all kind of moving different parts. So for us, it's huge for guys to be able to play multiple positions. Yeah. So we've had guys kind of moving around a little bit, and but we're as good of a team as we want to be, and I always tell our guys it's about minimizing the capability gap. What you're capable of doing and what you are doing.
Right.
And if we can make that gap small, then we got something. And there's times we've made it really small, and there's times like last three games, it's been bigger. So it's all about, hey, we're capable of doing this, but we're only doing this. So we've got to bridge that gap, and that takes preparation, hard work, focus, those kind of things. And, and baseball's a game of life. There's going to be ups and downs, and you got to be able to go with the flow. And you can't – I always tell them, we're never as bad as we feel we are. We're never as good as we think we are. We got to be somewhere in the middle.
That's right. You gotta approach it like that.
Yeah, that's right.
You never can be satisfied. You never cannot be hungry enough.
Yeah, that's right. True. That's right.
On the back half of the season, when you guys get here in the area play and start rolling, what are some of the things that you can hang your hat on that you're like, okay, we're pretty good at this, and some of the things you got to dig in and get to work on?
Well, I think pitching has been the major strength of our team. I think our guys our pitchers every time out for the most part, and I'm trying to think just off my head if we've ever had really just a bad outing. I don't think we really have. I think our guys on the mound have given us a shot. So that's always good to know that, everybody we run out there is going to give us, they're going to be in the zone. We're not going to just give a bunch of freebies off the mound. What defensively, I think, that's an area that, can always continue to get better, just as far as what we call dominating the routine play. We're not asking for guys to do anything extraordinary, just the routine play. That's routine ground balls, fly balls, making them outs. And then offensively, what we've been known for in the past has really been really good with a short game, being able to bunt and do those things. We've done that really well at times. It's kind of go back to consistency, being able to do it over and over again. And that's something we got to understand that with bunting, you're really never doing that when the game's out of hand. You're doing it when when it matters. So that's why it's very important, when we go and practice to work on those things, because when we get asked to do that, it's going to be a major part of the game. And our guys have done some good job at times. We can, like anything else, we need to be more consistent with it, and I think we will be.
No doubt, man. Sometimes it's tough to get a guy that's up there with that mindset to sacrifice. Well, I call it sacrifice. Sacrifice themselves for the betterment of the team. But that could be a huge weapon.
Well,
winning the game.
We always talk about too. Baseball being a game of life of like. we always want to be servants, in our life. It's all about what we can do to help the people around us be better people. That's the goal of life, is what value are you bringing where everybody that you meet is a better because they met you. And in baseball, it's about the team, and there's a misconception I think we talk about with our guys is in humility. A lot of people think, being humble means, you don't think yourself very good. Well, we talk about it is, humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less.
Yeah.
It's about everybody around you, and what can you do? And that's a hard lesson for young people to learn that, we're in our society, we're getting taught all the time, what can you get? What are you getting out of it? What are you getting out of it? How is it serving you versus what are you doing for the team? And I think baseball helps cultivate that. And I think that's a lesson for players to continue to learn is like whatever role that I'm playing, whether it's I'm a starter every game in the middle order, or if I'm a starter and I'm in the 9-hole, or hey, I come off the bench and in pinch hit or pinch run, that role is important and doing that role the best you can to help the team.
No doubt.
And I think the more guys we can get to do that, I think that not only helps our team, but it helps them individually understand that, life's not always about you, and sometimes we kind of lose focus of that, of what can I get versus what can I give. And I love our guys. I think this is one of my favorite teams I've coached. I mean, they're guys that, as people are just great people. And I want nothing more for them to be as successful as they can be, obviously on the baseball field, but in life. But, so my job as a coach is what do I got to do to help cultivate that where they can to be as successful as they deserve to be. And so that's what we're working for.
Man, that's what it's all about, is cultivating people. And I know some people will know where I'm coming from this. Rush Probst is a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Some people in the public love Rush.
Right.
Some people don't like Rush. But one thing he told me, and it's always stuck with me in my head, is he said he looked into the camera when I interviewed him. He said, the number one job is to make better people and to get these kids scholarships.
Right.
Under whatever cost. It's not about winning championships. It's about making better men and getting these guys ahead in life where they don't have all the student debt.
Right.
And he said, that is your number one goal. He looked at the camera and he said, if it's not your number one goal out there and you're a coach, you're not in it for the right reasons.
Right. Well, and to me, it's kind of along the same lines. Is not everybody is going to go and play in a college. Maybe they're the talent, maybe they don't have the desire to do it. But my number one goal is kind of the first thing is faith. My faith is a very big part of my life. And my number one goal is throughout all our process of whatever we do that I'm going to share Jesus. And then I'm going to. We have a scripture of the day every day. We're going through a talk with David and Goliath right now. And, because at the end of the day, when I'm done coaching and my time on earth is done, God's not going to ask me how many games I won or how many championships I won.
Right.
He's going to ask me what I do with the people that I was, was put in charge of. And, and sometimes you lose focus because we're competitors. I tell people all the time, just because I'm a Christian don't mean I don't like to win.
That's right.
But at the same time, it's about just getting our guys understanding God's blessed us with the ability to do that. And so the way we give that gift back is we do the most we can with it. And how can we use it to serve other people?
Man, Tim, that sounds like Tebow said that I got on him for celebrating.
Yeah.
He's like, why should I not celebrate?
Yeah.
I mean, just because you're a Christian don't mean you're supposed to
be excited. Be excited. Yeah, that's right.
I'm celebrating what this opportunity is giving.
Right. Yeah, well, that's what. You look back through the scripture, Jesus wasn't a weak person. He fought for the things that that obviously he believed in and wanted, what the message that God had sent him to deliver. And, for us, God's blessed us with a talent to, our goal is to do the best we can with that talent and to craft it and not take it for granted because there's a lot of people that can't play.
Exactly right.
I've told our guys this story before, but growing up, my mother was sick for the longest I can remember, and I know for any time that I didn't want to practice or do some things that I didn't, that maybe I was getting made to do. I could always think, she would give anything to be able to do this kind of stuff, but she couldn't. And there's a lot of people out there that don't have that opportunity, and so we honor them by doing the most of what opportunities we get. Is the conditioning and weightlifting is not fun. But we're blessed to get to do it, and going into games and losing the games, those aren't fun. Like last night was not fun to lose the games, but we're also grateful that we had the opportunity to play it.
Oh, 100%.
So sometimes you lose sight of that a little bit, and I have to remind myself of that because I can get down just like anybody else. And to me, I feel like when we don't perform at our highest level, the level I think we can, I feel like I've let the guys down as a coach. And so my job is to go back and what do I got to do as a coach, or we got to do as a coaching staff to adapt and change and get those guys to be able to play at their highest level. And that's what we're trying to do every day.
Coach, you're on your way, brother. I can tell you that. You're already there, really, I ain't talking about the wins or losses plays. I'm talking about the direction of cultivating young men.
I appreciate that.
You said something a minute ago. Everybody don't always have a scholarship opportunity to get a scholarship,
right.
And that is true. But they all are going to have to go to work at some
That's
point.
right.
And
That's right.
The lessons they learn here about the ups and downs.
And that's what in 10 years from now, this group of guys, whenever they wherever their life is taking them, what I'm hoping is they're a better father and a better husband and a better employee because of what I messaged one of my coaches that I played for years ago. Northwest Shoals is now bringing back their junior college baseball program, and the head coach David Langston, who was there when I went and played there, and I coached with him there. They gave him the job back, after 10 years of not having the program. And I kind of messaged him the other day, said, congratulations. I'm not only the coach I am and the husband I am and the father I am because of being able to play for him. That's and awesome. The lessons I've learned, and so I'm hoping that we impart that somewhat on our guys as well, that we can have that impact somehow. That's
good. It's definitely happening, Coach. I appreciate you sitting in. I know it's a Friday and you're off work. It's time to go to the house.
Yes.
We just got through with the signing here, and that's another blessing.
Yeah.
Coach, I appreciate you, and thank you for sitting in, and obviously the Gun Shop of Gadsden for sponsoring this. And we will see you soon, Coach.
Thank you.